Hi, this is Joyce. I know one person is waiting, and I'm going to be speaking at 12:30, which it is now, from my home on replacement theory. I thought this would be a live stream. Hi, would you please identify yourself who's here? And I'm happy to talk to you. We're going to be discussing replacement theory and why it's so detrimental to the country. It's part of our heritage, and it's something we should all be speaking about. Started most likely with Jim Crow. Well, that person's gone. Let's see if anyone else comes on, since I am live at the right time. So I'll speak for a couple of minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and nobody shows up, well, that's it. This is be just another video. I am quite upset with what happened in Buffalo. And I think what's more upsetting is that this has been espoused by Trump's GOP. And it started with Nixon and it went on until it reached its culmination today with so many murders in our country for all the wrong reasons, with because of terrible propaganda. Luckily, in New York State, Christians, white Christians, are talking against replacement theory and talking about the terrorism that has been spawned in our own country by our own people. The AG of New York State is going to take action. She is looking at criminalizing 4chan, 8chan, Twitch, and Discord. Certainly, I never heard of those social media platforms. 22 people witnessed the massacre in Buffalo. 22. And millions wound up seeing the videos that the gunman took. It reminded me of what happened in Paris when I was there in 2015, when the people at Charlie Hebdo, a very small cartoon newspaper, all their editors, many of which who were Jewish, were massacred. And it was filmed on GoPro and sent out to all the social media channels. It was dreadful, really dreadful. And then 2 days later, when I was in Paris, the same group of terrorists targeted innocent people at the Hyper Calle, also a supermarket. Well, where does replacement theory come from? It comes from the marginalization of Black lives, of people of color who really have nothing, and they are being set up as targets along with Jews who are supposedly supporting Black lives. And we do. We support all people. Jews stand up for what's right. It's part of our religion, part of our training to do what's right for people and to take the hungry in and to feed the poor. And I know in my own temple, we had a homeless shelter for 30 years until the pandemic happened. So, what's happening is really a heinous crime against minorities, people of color, and the Jewish people, once again being scapegoated for everyone's views of what's wrong with the country. What's wrong with the country is George Bush let in 11 million people as immigrants into the country under his watch. And we never legitimized that. And we never legitimized anything that has to do with immigration. It's not all coming from South America. Immigration comes from Romania, from Cuba, from other areas in the world. Ukrainians will try to come in as well. It's correct. They're not taking anyone's jobs away, not even a little. What's happening is jobs are going to very, very low paid people. And the same economic disparity that we see in society, an unequal society, is happening in the corporate world. So you have people who are not making too much money, and then you have the top echelons. Why people are so afraid of the 10 to 15% minority of brown and black people, I have no idea, or the 2% of this country that may be Jewish. I have no idea why that's occurring. This hatred is misguided and it should be off of social media. All it generates is violence, violent crimes against innocent people, when everyone should look around their own towns and cities and their own legislators and stop looking at others and see what's really happening in your community. Because what's happening is it's not illegal aliens that are taking your jobs. There just aren't enough jobs at decent prices to go around for everyone. Can there be? You bet there can. All you have to do is ask corporations to A, stop raising their prices, stop raising their profits as much as they're doing, and start putting in the middle managers who would then be able to have competitive corporations, corporations that think and act on behalf of the people and the employees who are there. So, replacement theory, that's not what's wrong with this country. That is a small minority of terrorists. And it is actually a lot of the white Christian churches who are promoting this concept along with the ownership of guns. Well, I've got to tell you, in New York State, we're not going to do that any longer. There is a coalition behind Reverend Cook of all people, of the heads of their religions, joining together, asking for the control of guns in this state. And we're asking for, I don't know if you want to, I won't call it censorship, I'll call it regulation of social media. I will tell you that going live, I was used to Periscope when there were a lot of people online, and it was more of an interactive program. I find this format quite challenging because I'm speaking to myself. And I don't know, it's different, it seems to me, than uploading a, a video that I've created and curated just for you, my followers. Maybe you'll listen to this, maybe you won't, I don't know. But I felt it was a venue to be, just like Periscope, where we had that tremendous interaction. Doesn't seem that that's what's happening. In any case, replacement theory. is a crime against humanity. It is the murdering of others because you think that they are taking jobs away from you. They're not the ones. The people who are taking jobs away from you are the people in Trump's GOP and in the states like Texas or Florida, where they give no benefits to people, where you have limited health care, where their grids for electricity are antiquated, and the poor people, the immigrants, legal or not, who are working in 105-degree weather, building for construction, building infrastructure, they're not getting paid a lot of money. In fact, that's why they were allowed into this country to begin with, to be exploited. So, no need to fear them. In fact, what Abbott wants to do when he wants to take away schooling from young immigrant children who were probably born in this country, he is making $500 million in revenue in his state for employing illegal aliens. That is talking out of two sides of your mouth. That is saying, on the one hand, you don't want immigrants, and immigrants are stealing jobs from others, and on the other hand, you're happy to exploit them. Sure, they want small government. Small government works because without a federal oversight and federal government legislation, replacement theory can perpetuate itself, and everyone can be angry at someone else because their lot in life is not that good. Well, I got to tell you, if you let the infrastructure bills go through, if you have expanded Medicaid and Medicare for everyone, if you get the For the Families Act passed, where children who are 3 and 4 years old can start learning and have a national curriculum, then you will have started a system that leads you out of poverty. Education works, and education, whether it leads to a trade craft, an apprenticeship, or a professional school, is worthwhile. Certainly, what we have to do is curb corporate power, not curbing each other. The poor folks who live in other cities, they are not taking your jobs. Those jobs went away because of trade arrangements, not because of anyone in this country. They suffered mightily also. The poor jobs disappeared because others took them. They went to China, they went to other countries. We're outsourcing to Southeast Asia. We're outsourcing all over the world. Why do you think we only rely on now one company? I can't believe it. One company for baby formula? That was never the case. We always had a variety of competitive corporations. And now we're instituting the War Production Act for more baby formula because women are suffering. Well, I would say we should be using the War Production Act for renewable energy. It's only 10% of Texas energy. And the reason it's not integrated into the grid is because it costs money. You need an intermediary piece so that solar, wind, or even small nuclear power plants can be integrated into the electric grid. That's why it's not happening, but it would produce twice as many clean jobs as the entire fossil fuel industry. So, my advice, don't look at replacement theories. Don't look at hatred. Look at what's really happening in your state. Dig a little deeper. Go beyond those dreadful social media platforms that reinforce your bias. Go beyond that and see what's really happening in your world. And I'll leave you with a small story. The other day, when I was reporting on Ukraine and what's happening, I literally had to scan 7 magazines or newspapers across the world in order to find out which one really was the most informative. And what I found is that I had to give you guys, my followers, a compendium of all that I read in order to get the truth about the prisoner exchange, the swaps from the steel plant, and how Zelensky and the Ukrainians may have been betrayed. So don't go to reinforce your own views. Look at history. Let's start talking and having a dialogue about what really matters to us. And what matters is a better way of life, not taking out our frustrations on innocent people. Uh, this was very different for me. In fact, it's made me concerned. This is twice in a row I've done it with nobody listening. So we'll see what happens if this continues or not. I may try again now that I know how to do it. And I am not nervous on whether or not the stream comes on. I know it does. And I look forward to another week. Try again. And if anyone has a suggestion for timing, I'm happy to accommodate it. Thank you again for listening, dear followers. My real YouTube will come out on Tuesday as planned. Bye now and take care. God bless.